Green Lantern 1 closing in 5 seconds. Fair market on this 7.0 copy is $28,000. I was talking to someone in the comments today who observed something very true, that the style of this cover seems very modern for its era. 1941 is when this was drawn, and it looks like it could be something almost out of the 80s. That said, it is not the Green Lantern Golden Age key. That is in All American Comics. All American Comics something or other is the first Green Lantern. That is a very rare book. This is not that. It's the first Green Lantern in his own series. Issue 1 at 7.0, 144 total graded copies, 9 at 7.0, 12 copies in higher grade with the highest at 9.0. 28,000 fair market, but it's nowhere near that at 16,500. Let's see what it closed at. Never seen that before. We'll have to come back to this. We'll jump ahead to this Green Lantern number 1 at 9.2. This is the Silver Age Green Lantern. Again, it's not the first appearance of the Silver Age Green Lantern. That's Showcase 22. This is the first Silver Age Green Lantern in his own series. 9.2, fair market's $15,000. I had speculated that this book was going to do better relative to its fair market than the Golden Age one, because there are just a lot more people who like Silver Age Hal Jordan Green Lantern. He's got a better mythology. The Golden Age one I don't think was ever very popular, and today is not particularly popular with many people. I think had it not been for the Silver Age reboot of the Green Lantern, the Golden Age Green Lantern would be virtually forgotten. With a $15,000 fair market, bidding's at $10,768, and it closes. What is going on here? Okay, backing up a second. Whatever was wrong has been fixed. We can see that Green Lantern 1 from 1941, Golden Age Green Lantern at 7.0, has closed $49 away from fair market. $28,000 was the fair market, closed for $27,951. This one didn't move. It closed for $10,768. So the tables have turned. The Golden Age Green Lantern did really well, almost hit fair market. The Silver Age Green Lantern at 9.2 ended up about 25%, almost 30% down from fair market. This one took a dive. 7.0's fair market is $2,300, and it beat fair market, $2,603 for this one. A lot of tanning on this 7.0. Green Lantern 76 at 9.4, off-white to white pages. This was a super progressive run from Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, sort of embracing the counterculture, particularly with Green Arrow. Not so much in this issue, I don't think, but in subsequent stories. They took on political issues that were happening in the just pre-Watergate era. All right, Green Lantern 76 at 9.4, off-white to white pages, just closed with a $3,900 fair market. Did not move. $2,722. And these prices are way down from just a couple of years ago. We've got an all-time peak of $9,500, $3,099, and down even further now to $2,722. This book is still dropping. I believe there's a Green Lantern series about to debut on HBO Max, isn't there? I think they've got a show coming. Haunt of Fear. Now, with EC Comics, I just say it's about personal taste. There's so many covers. There's no real continuity. It's an anthology series, so every story is different. It's like the Twilight Zone. I just go by which covers appeal to me. And with these 3 Haunt of Fear books, they're all very high grade, but the cover that I like is this one, with the Matador and the zombie bull. It's a cover that tells a story. Bullfighting has always kind of horrified me. I think it's just an awful tradition. I am hoping this guy gets his due and the bull gets some justice. Haunt of Fear number 10, fair market's $2,900, closing in 5 seconds. 2,050. 25 or so, 28% below fair market, but we are in that $2,000 to $3,000 range that I feel like I always see EC books close in. Not the case with this next one, because this is a 9.6 pedigree white pages. This is a Gaines file copy. As I've said many times, William H. Gaines famously always stored, I believe, 2 copies of each book they published, and those books now circulate. If you get a Gaines file copy, it's usually a 9.8 or 9.6. He kept them well preserved. Sometimes I think I've seen a 9.0 once. Maybe one of them got dropped over the last 80 years or so, but they're usually very high grade. This cover, it's kind of bog standard to me. There's nothing that jumps out. It's a Graham Ingalls cover, who is not one of the top names for EC. EC generally, they were just really good at making covers that jumped off the newsstand, grabbed your attention, and were shocking. This isn't one of them. So I wouldn't pay for this, but someone did. $47.44 is what the bidding was at, and it closed for $48.44. This one's got a headless guy on an operating table. We got a mad scientist doing some sort of Frankenstein jiggery pokery with his corpse. $1,700 is where the bidding was at, closed at $26.22. So the lowest of these three was the Matador cover. This is the one I like. Hawkman number 4, first appearance of Zatanna. This is a 9.6 white pages copy. Now Zatanna's not on the cover. That's always a ding with a first appearance of a character. And if there's any character you want to show, it's Zatanna. You don't want to just talk about Zatanna. Doctor Strange not being on the cover of his first appearance, it's too bad, but Doctor Strange. You never pass up an opportunity to draw Zatanna, right? Fair market for the first appearance of Zatanna is $12,000. However, there was a sale for $20,000. Let's see if I can find it. Sold 4.5 years ago, and that's the last sale, for $20,000. So they put the fair market at $20,000, but I think realistically it's more like a $12,000 book, because look at all these other sales. There's no Zatanna movie in development. Was she in, was there a Zatanna-like character in Birds of Prey, the Harlequin movie? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Right? I know she's got fans out there, but I don't think those fans are going to care too much about her first appearance, because it's in a case and you don't see her on it. So it is actually surprising to me, given that anybody's paying a lot for her first appearance. I would think her first cover appearance would do a lot better. $8,100 is what the bidding was at, and it closed for $9,019. What it was selling for in 2018 and 2019, that's what it's selling for these days. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. I didn't cover this in the previews. $49,000 is what the fair market is for a 9.8. We've got a $100,000 sale from the delirious days of the pandemic. $102,000. Came back down to earth with 48 and 49 on Heritage. It still surprises me how high this is. It's the same era that Blade premiered and Moon Knight. It's that early Bronze Age era. This is a book I should put on my radar and pay more attention to. $34,000, closed at $36,000. So I'm surprised how high that is, but it's actually quite low compared to past sales. You have to go back 10 years to find a sale lower than that. 9.6, fair market's $3,400, closed for $2,600. House of Secrets, 8.0 CBCS, signed by Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson, and Tony DeZuniga. Not signed on the cover, signed on the inside. CBCS is now defunct. They have been sold to PSA. This is a really unappealing label. I guess I'm just used to seeing CGCs. The yellow, it draws attention to itself. Just looks like a Brother P-Touch label from 30 years ago. It's not good. I'd like to see this in a different case, and I have a feeling whoever's buying this intends to put it in a different case. The fair market at 8.0 CGC blue label is $2,450. We are way past that. CBCSs generally go for less than CGC, but this is a book that I think it's unstable with the pricing. There's a lot of interest in this book right now for no particular pop culture reason. I think people just really like Bernie Wrightson. He was a fantastic illustrator who passed away recently. I think there's a lot of love for the character of Swamp Thing, even though, again, mainstream pop culture has not done anything great with Swamp Thing. We all remember the 80s Alan Moore run. He's a really unique character. It's hard to even think of him as a superhero, especially with the twist Alan Moore added to the character where he's not Alex Holland. He's not a person. He is literally just the swamp with the memories of having been a person. This first appearance is not in that continuity. It's not even Alex Holland. This was, I think, kind of a one-off horror story about a swamp creature that was later repurposed into an ongoing series, but it's still got that great cover. I'm going to be interested to see what this number is because it's already way past the fair market for a blue label. Is it the signatures that people are paying up for? Is it that they think it's going to get a better grade than 8.0 if it's put in a CGC or PSA case? I don't know. Or is it just because there's a lot more demand for this book than the guides think there is? Let's see. $37.66 closes at $4,100. That is one of the biggest jumps above fair market that we've seen. That's like 60%, 60 to 70% above where the fair market for CGC puts it. This is a hard book to price, again, because it's CBCS, because it's got the signatures, but it is very surprising. Generally, you see a CBCS book go for less than CGC. That is not what happened here. We've got one of the biggest sales of the night coming up in 25 seconds. Incredible Hulk #1 at 6.5 off-white pages, followed immediately by Incredible Hulk #1, 4.0 white pages. Based on the scans, I like this 4.0 better. 6.5, again, this very well may just be the scans, but 6.5 looks faded. The dark colors on this 4.0 are a lot crisper. The fair market at 6.5 is 38,000, bidding at 37,000. The fair market at 4.0 is 19,500, bidding at 17,500. The 6.5 closed for 37,000. This 4.0 is further below fair market, not much further, but below it. 10 seconds till closing, still at 17,500. Oh, yeah, you can't see it. Here's my copy right here, graded right in between those two. 17,500 closes for 18,000. We are 4 minutes away from the Hulk 181 closings. First appearance of Wolverine. We have 4 copies, 9.8 white pages. Interesting. I just noticed this with the Stan Lee signature, but it does not have a yellow label. That means that CGC was not able to authenticate this signature. This is one of those books that he had absolutely nothing to do with. Nothing at all. But he was still perfectly happy to put his signature on it. They couldn't verify it. So it's just a silver Sharpie scribble on the page. They didn't mark it down for that, though. It's still 9.8 white pages. Then we got a 9.6 off white to white, 9.4 white, 9.2 off white to white. I'm not going to do my whole rant about why this book is the most overpriced book in existence in the comic hobby. It is. These prices are, I'll put it this way, wildly inorganic, especially at 9.8. The fair market is still at $70,000 for this book. There was a $132,000 sale a few years ago, but it's hovering at $70,000. This one is bidding at $49,000. Now it's up to $51,000. I expect it will climb a little higher. I think this book should be down where Giant Size X-Men 1 is. I think it should be selling for $20,000 or less. What do we have for recent sales? We got $72,000, $54,000 on Heritage, $58,000, $66,000, $72,000, and now we are at $51,000 and it closes for $53,000. So that's low. That's low. Still crazy, but low. 4 seconds until the 9.6 closes. There's a 9.6 off white to white. The fair market at 9.6 is drastically lower than 9.8, 16,000, less than 1/4 the price of 9.8. And this is off white to white. It's not a white pages, so it should not hit 16,000. And it didn't, 13,250. Somebody just paid $40,000 more for this book than this book. And we have the 9.4 white pages, 9.4, even lower, 9,500 fair market. So we're out of the 5 figures at 9.4, 8,451 with 9 seconds to go. Still there. I bet you it's not going to move. You really only see the crazy action at 9.8. The lower grades, 9,150, so a little above fair market. Incredible Hulk King Size Annual #1, 9.8 off white to white pages. I've got my copy right here. 9.6 white pages. Big difference in price between the 9.6 and 9.8. I think the 9.6 goes for about $3,000. The 9.8 fair market is currently $10,500. As I ranted in the previews, this is a terrible issue with a fantastic cover by Jim Steranko with a face redrawn by Mary Severin. Fair market $10,500, biddings $7,163, and it closes for $7,163. That is way below fair market, but It is always seems strange to me that it's as high as it is because, this is comparable. This is 1968. So this is comparable to like a Silver Surfer 1 when that book was coming out. Maybe Iron Man 1. They started a bunch of series around this time, but this is late Silver Age. There aren't a lot of very high-priced books from this time, and when there are, they're usually key issues where something happened. Nothing happens in this book. It is purely a great cover. And it is a great cover, but it's always seemed odd to me that it goes for as much as it does, so I'm not that shocked by this sale price. Iron Man 55, first appearance of Thanos and Drax in 9.6 white pages. Fair market's $3,500. It's currently bidding at $3,060. This is a book that's seen some ups and downs. This is when the first Avengers movie debuted and everybody was surprised to see Thanos in the post-credits of Avengers, and everybody knew Thanos was coming, but then it took 6 years for him to actually arrive in Infinity War. So the prices gradually moved up over these 6 years. Then Endgame happened, May of 2019, started to dip down. Then the pandemic craziness happened and everything went up. Peaked actually several years, 4 years after Endgame came out, peaked at $6,250. Then prices started to drop. Hasn't dropped that severely. 3,600 is the fair market. Last sale on Heritage, $3,172. That's about where we're at now with 30 seconds to go. I don't think we're going to see another sale. I think it's going to close for this amount. 5 seconds left to go. 3, 2, 1. Did not move. This is the end of another ComicLink Winter Featured Auction closing. Do check out my Shortbox site right here, Grails to Astonish. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.